To deal with questions based on mole concept asked in NEET 2026. I have been stressing on this point from time to time that no matter whether it is JEE or NEET, questions on mole concept, minimum 3 to 4, that too directly based on mole concept. In fact, there are many more questions which are indirectly based on mole concept, that is, topics are other than 11th topic, that is from topics from 12th, solution, transition metal coordination chemistry. All these topics will have questions which need mole concept one way or another. Even chemical titration, you will need mole concept one way or another. So we are going to deal with today the questions from NEET 2026 mole concept. The first question is how many moles of HCl are formed when 11.2 liters of hydrogen reacts with 22.4 moles of chlorine. There can be many variations that can be changed, but in this particular case, it was like this. It could be 11.2 liters of hydrogen or 22.4. Volumes could be changed, but the basic mole concept is 1 mole is equal to 22.4 liters at STP for important all gases. So, to get the answer, we write the equation H2 plus Cl2, of course gases, both gas is equal to twice HCl. Now, when it comes to mole concept and chemical equation, this means 1 mole of this reacts with 1 mole of this to give 2 moles of HCl. Now, they haven't given moles, but when you are applying mole concept, 11.2 liters, so you can straight away write what is given is half mole, 22.4, 1 mole. The question is, how many moles of this are formed? Now, another application of mole concept is mole concept. This is first part, mole concept and chemical equation. The second part here is limiting reagent. Which says product formed depends on reagent in lesser quantity. What it indirectly means is that if the product will be, there is no problem if there were 1 mole of this, given 1 mole of this, or say 10 mole of this, 10 mole of this, then 20 mole of this will come. But here, for 1 mole, you require 1 mole, but here hydrogen half mole. So you straight away say this is limiting reagent. Once you say this is limiting reagent, you totally forget about the other reagent and calculate on the basis of this and straight away. 1 mole gives 2 mole of this, so half mole of this will get 1 mole. That's the answer. You will get an ABCD of this in the papers. So their answer ABCD were 1 mole, 2 mole, 3 mole, 4 mole, and the answer in this case is 1 mole. We go to the next question. Next question is even easier than this question. Here at least there were some very basic things where more than one basic were involved. But here only one very basic is there, and that is mole is equal to one of the basic equation, weight in grams upon gram molecular weight. Now this question based on this is the most simple question, but it does not even involve any calculation. That appears that there are calculations, but if you use common sense, you can answer straight away. The question in this year was question. Question this year in NEET 26 was which has maximum atoms? A, 1 gram hydrogen gas. B, 1 gram copper. One gram silver. I'm underlining this particular point. 1 gram silver, and last one was 1 gram mercury. Now see this thing. The formula is this. Now, each of them is 1 gram. So in this case, 1 upon 2, this is 1 upon 63.5, this is 1 upon 107, and this is 1 upon nearly 80. Okay? Now, common sense tells when the weight is same, mole is inversely proportional to atomic weight oblique molecular weight. So naturally, without doing any calculation, you see molecular weight of hydrogen is minimum. So mole is maximum. And the basic thing is mole is directly proportional to number of atoms, molecules, or anything, electrons, etc. So, in this case, without spending even 10 seconds, if you use common sense, you can answer this question straightforward. Now we go to the next question. Now, in this next question, again the same thing. Now, this question, although this question is based on quantum numbers, a little bit changed from mole concept. We'll come back to mole concept again, but when it came to common sense, I came to this particular question where there is no need of any calculation or description. This question was, how many electrons in excuse me, in an orbital with n equal to 3 and L equal to 1. Now, I'm stressing on this thing. People say n equal to 3, so third orbit, L equal to 1, so 3p, so they draw 3 boxes and then say one orbital will contain 2 electrons. There are alternatives where 2, B6, C8, D10. Right? The important thing for you to remember is you don't have to go through anything. Now here, even if it is n equal to 5 and L is equal to 3, the answer will be again same, because the basic concept according to Pauling's rule is leading to the fact that any orbital can have two electrons. So there may be hundred of combinations of N or L. The answer is always going to be 2. And so I would like to deal with this a little more in detail, because these questions are asked a little bit in different ways also. So I just deal it with a little independent way. Now this question comes, for this question we should know where we can directly, you all know. Or if quantum number is n, orbitals are n square and maximum electrons are 2n square, because any orbital contains 2 electrons, so you multiply it by 2. Then when we come to any suborbit, if you are given value of L, any suborbit with any n, any suborbit, the value depends on n. Number of orbitals in a suborbit is equal to 2L plus 1. So maximum number of electrons will be equal to 2 into 2L plus 1 equal to 4L plus 2. And finally, if you are given only n square, if you are given n L and asked about suborbit, then you will ask not this. When if you are given any n and L, any value, and ask the question is about orbital, you don't take even 1 second to say the answer is 2 electrons. I'll give you an example. Third orbit, n is equal to 3. Orbitals, 9, n square, that is 3 square. Electrons, orbitals into 2, so 2n square. So if you are asked about only orbital, there's no, you will never be asked. You will always be asked in either a combination of n and L, question on suborbit or an orbital. In case of orbital, straightaway the answer is 2. Don't even look at the value of n, l. Don't even waste your time in drawing diagrams and things like that. Let's go next question, back again to mole concept. This question is very deceptive question, and students really get mixed up in basic mole concept when they forget one thing which I am going to stress as we deal with this question. The question has been asked many a times, and many students, almost 99% students, deal with this question in a wrong manner. The question I remember was asked even 20 years back in IIT Advanced, and people got lost in it. The question asked is how many water molecules in 18 ml of water now. Most of the students make a mistake on calculating. Of course, for getting molecules, you have to convert this to mole. Now, to convert this to mole, because here what is given is volume, what the student do is number of moles of water is equal to 18 upon 22,400 ml, which is wrong. If you know mole concept, a mole is equal to volume in liter at STP divided by 22.4, because we know 1 mole of any gas at STP occupies 22.4 liters. That is why this comes. Now the question is basically about water. Water here is a liquid. So in this case, this calculation is wrong. So how do you do? You do very easy, 18 gram water. Now how are you? Here it is ml. The examiner does not give you density, because you all know, every student, science student is supposed to know the density of water is 1 gram per ml. So 18 ml of water, you can write down 18 gram. So 18 upon 18, which is molecular weight of water, you get 1 mole. And from mole concept, you know 1 mole is equal to Avogadro number of molecules, which is equal to 6.02 into 10 raised to 23. As simple as this. This is very simple, but the examiner decepts you with giving volume of either in case of water or alcohol or acetone or anything. But the basic thing is, if they give anything other than water, then they will give you the density of that particular liquid. I hope it's clear. I deal with this question particularly because over the last 30 years that I have been teaching for NEET or IIT, I have found my good students getting deceived by this particular simple thing in this question, or the last question which I dealt on quantum number and number of electrons in an orbital. So there in that particular question, which I dealt a few minutes back, it is there the question is about volume to this thing. Here, again, volume is given, so you have to convert it to solid form because you know the defeat. The formula is weight in gram upon molecular weight or volume in liter upon 22.8. But the volume given is of a liquid. So you cannot apply unless you convert it to weight and use the weight formula, weight in gram upon molecular weight. Thank you.